Well, good news, bad news, boys and girls. Today's Wednesday. November 22nd, 28th, I guess. So I'm just getting ready to leave because I did get my money yesterday. But I thought because I'm going to such a dangerous area, I better do something about self-protection. So if you remember, I'm going to the border with Mexico. So I got this 4-pound hammer and I got some nails. So that can probably be used instead of a bullets, you know, if you hit it real hard with the hammer. And then I started walking around the trailer and I figured out that it can be used for something else as well. Specifically for the timbers in the back. Now the main purpose of this purchase, the hammer was 28 bucks Canadian, but see, I got 2 straps over here, right? One strap on the boom, one strap over here, and the other one over here. And these things are still not stable, of course, because see, the boom arises this way, so there's more space this way, right? And it pushes it at an angle. Like that, ideally would have been to bring the machine and put these over here so that they push against this, but it just wasn't practical, you know. And so now I have to redo everything. Well, not everything, but basically just I wanna do these 2 straps and then that one. And my suspicion is that I'll be able to use a hammer to knock these forward, you know, because it is a heavy boom, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, it turns out the one on the other side was loose, you know? Like when the guy put the boom down, the guy who helped me load this thing, for some reason that side, you know, was not pushing hard enough. And because I noticed that this side, like the big timber underneath, was still in the same spot, but on the other side it moved a little bit, so well, the plan is I just put some nails in it. Just put some nails in here, you know, so that they cannot move. And then I'll put a strap around, like I'll put end of the strap. Like before I was holding this, which is useless anyway. So now I'm just gonna put a strap and go around this timber and pull it back. Okay, so I tied down the rear board. I really like it like this. So it's pulling the board against these, so it's not going to move anywhere. And these nails are useless. They might work against Mexican mafia, but they cannot withstand against oak, you know? Like they start bending, and I don't know, they look so, they look so solid, but it's just ridiculous. So you see, I just nailed this to prevent this from going backwards, because that's where the movement is. This thing tries to push it this way. So now the big board cannot go back because of the strap. It cannot go forward because of this. I think I'm a genius. And then I just retighten my straps. I just need to tie them down. Like I always say, it's the first urge is to just take scissors and cut this thing. But next time you might need I might need more strap. And I forgot to mention that you see something unusual in the middle of I'm so happy to see this, or not to see that. If you guys remember, I have tops in there, right? And since I'm not topping anymore, I forgot last time I topped, so I sold them. Okay, now all we gotta do is check the chains. What is this? Hold on, I gotta try to close that one. Well, I just think my fuel mileage just went up 2 miles per gallon. No, as always, yeah, this is definitely not mine. This thing is leaking something.
see, okay. Actually, it's coming from there, from under the machine, because I'm sitting at an angle. Just something was leaking out there. Okay, so the next step is go to Woodstock and wash this. And after about a year, no, a couple of years with these, I want to say that these binders are useless, you know. They're very weak, like the handle is too small. They don't work very well. Like these ones are almost 4 years old and they still work, you know. So don't buy these ones with folding handles. Okay, this one is still there. I got my straps. You can see I had to tie this thing up. So I got two straps on both sides. Oh, and there's a chain on the other side. Yeah, I think all this stuff has to be washed. Like no way they're letting this across the border like this. So I'm definitely asking the customer for compensation on this one. It might cost me, I don't know, 150 bucks. We'll see. Everything looks good. And my favorite part of the morning, some exercise. Why go to the gym when you have a Mack truck with a manual pump that has to be used every morning? No, I'm not complaining. Who's complaining? I like this. And when I was doing a oil change, I asked the guy, I said, can you add the coolant? Oh, it's almost at the maximum. And of course the engine was hot, it was over there. Now it's almost at minimum. Well, we'll see what happens when it's warm again. But I hate this, you know, when you do oil change and you pay them all this money just to open the tap at the bottom and drain your oil and then put the new one in, and they don't even bother to top up your fluids under the hood, you know? Oh, you're good. Oh yeah, really? Okay. You're the mechanic. Now again, I'm gonna fuck my car probably for a month, you know. Well, I hope this guy doesn't show up. No, but I'm gonna move it, of course. I just need to clear the room for my truck. Alright. So this thing has been sitting on my trailer for a week, but I did warm up the engine a couple of times, so let's see how it starts. But now it's very warm. It's probably, I don't know, 55, 60 F, but probably, yeah, we know that you're a Mac, you cannot just start without beeping, so that would be disappointing. Yeah, +6 Celsius. So like I said, that's about 40 F. And the coolant is at 8 degrees Celsius. So we're gonna warm it up till 40, or till this thing over here moves from 100. Right now it's less than 100 F, so like there's nowhere to go for that thing over there. Yeah, that sound, that's the air went into my lift axle. Because should be like somewhere here, around 130, almost 140. And check this out. That's why I need to scale. Like my fifth wheel shows, I know that one, that's about 46,000 pounds on the drives, which is still legal in Canada, but I want to be closer to 60 psi, which is 34,000 pounds, I know from experience. But now once the pressure goes into the pusher axle, this thing is going to start sliding backwards. One thing, since now I have fully synthetic, my favorite oil, Shell Rotella T6 5W40 or 30, I think 40, right? I noticed right away the difference, like when you start the engine. With the old, before this I had conventional oil 5W40, and the pressure was way like over 80 psi when you just start the cold engine, and it would stay there for a long time, you know, and that what causes the wear and tear on the engine, like too much pressure, you know, in the oil. And as soon as I switched to this one, so the temperature has been the same, so I can compare, and I can see right away, yeah, it goes to 80 when you just start it, and then pretty much right away it goes back. If you can see, like now it's 70 psi. When I started it was 80. So this Shell Rotella is much better for the engine, because the pressure, there's much less friction, you know, when you have a cold engine. Now I raised the axle 3 because I don't have as much weight, I don't think. Okay, bye bye Mustang. I love this car. See you in a couple of weeks. Alright, so we're good, flag signs, everything's cool. You'll be good, okay? Don't fall off, because that would be embarrassing. All right. So we're warmed up. The route is programmed. Наступна зупинка площа Кирова. The next stop is Kirov's Square. No, the next stop is TA in Woodstock, which is 56 kilometers or roughly 33 miles. What? And we're gonna do we're gonna wash the crane, and we're gonna scale. So this way I lower all my weights, and then I can order the rest of my permits. Yeah, that's a cool looking old fire truck, GMC. Come on, you can do it. 69, 70, 71, 73. Come on, 74. Can we have a 75? 75 kilometers an hour. Yes, sir. What a powerful truck. 76. And we are slowing down, and I wanted to take the left lane, like the middle lane, and I got too excited. I need to take that lane. I'm sorry, Peterbilt truck, Captain Sergei cannot be in that lane over there. It's too narrow further down. Okay, we can signal to him. Oh, look at this guy. The guy has a shoelace behind him. Okay, anyway, that was my goal, because I could have joined 401 over there at Haspler, but I decided to take like a slight detour. Yeah, this is the guy that was behind me. I decided to take a slight detour because I know there's always jam in here, and I really need this lane, right? Because over there it starts going like this. There's concrete barriers, and you can see on my tablet it's all red and it says +4 minutes. And so clearly all these people that are trying to go fast, they have no idea about this. Like, this is the first time they go through this stretch probably. But I'm telling you, I love this thing because I know I cannot rush, you know, like what's the point? It says +4 minutes. So basically everybody's crawling. There's nothing you can do. Alright, gear 5. 25 kilometers an hour. Jeez, we are flying. Look at this. people are a bit scared of my crane. Come on, it doesn't bite. It's only a 60-ton crane. I feel like that guy almost went on the shoulder. Mr. T800, come on, my favorite truck. Don't be so scared. Yeah, I never thought I would say this, you know, but it's really, that's the truck I want. I want that older model, or maybe the newer one, I know, 880. But I like those air cleaners. I think they're useful for a heavy haul operation. Okay. Yeah, first away, pounds, please.
Truck number?
305.
I'll run into the fuel bar when you're ready.
Thank you. The price $1.16 Canadian per liter diesel. Interested to see how much do I weigh. And it's always a good idea, make sure that all the axles are on the platform, you know. Okay, the scale is done. Axles are okay, and my gross weight is, that's the truck, the trailer, the load, is 124,720 pounds, so basically 125, which means so 124,720 minus 49040. So if I have, like, I know my empty weight with full fuel is 49,040 pounds, but actually now I am lighter because I only have like 50% of fuel. So with full fuel, this thing says I would weigh 75,680, but wait a second, but then my gross weight would be higher too. So probably instead of 124, I could weigh 125.7. So I should add, let's say, 1,000 pounds for fuel if I'm full. So I don't know, anywhere like 75, 76,000 pounds, that's what this thing weighs. So I don't actually need the Philip axle, and that's why I'm running with a axle 3 up. But I'm gonna send, I took a picture of how the axle sits because I'm not sure if my permit lady understands why I have 3 axles like 60, 61, 20 inch spacing. So I'm gonna send her this and say, you know, try this like with all the states after Michigan, because Michigan all axle has to be down anyway, but states after that, if they're okay with this, just send them the, you know, application. Just I'll run like that. If they say no, they want all axles down, I'll just put all axles down, no big deal. All I gotta do is just push the button. So anyway, so now, so scale is done. So now I can order the permits, but first I gotta wash the truck. And I did a big reconnaissance, went for a walk, because I forgot if you can enter the wash from this parking lot, if you have to go back on the road. And then I went there, it turns out you go on this road over here, and then the truck wash has its own separate entrance. So basically, yeah, you have to go on the road, but it doesn't have to be this one, like the bigger one. It has to be this, can be the small one. And I called them before and I asked them, I just verified how wide the doors are, and they said they're like just over 13 feet. So, you know, and I'm 11.5, so it should be okay. So the machine is clean. Cost me $226 Canadian, and it was like 4 guys, you know. It was really dirty, and plus before this I spent like maybe 15 minutes myself trying to loosen the dirt. Oh boy. So 226 Canadian bucks, that's 175, you know, US. So I sent a picture of the dirty machine and then of the clean machine, and even a short video to the buyer and a copy of the receipt. I said I want to be reimbursed for this, right? This is, I was not washing my truck and trailer. I had to wash your load, you know. And as always, I forgot about this when I was booking this load, because you know, you always hope that they're like, most of the time I deal with new machinery, right? But whenever there's an auction, especially in winter, that's always, you always have to ask them, like, who's gonna wash it, right? Do you realize that a dirty machine cannot go across the border? Because quite often the buyers and customers, you know, have no idea about this. What? That's just dirt. Yeah, try argue with the US Customs over there. They just send me back, and then I have to pay the toll twice to go over the bridge. But that one solved. The guy sent me like a thumbs up, so I don't think there'll be a problem. They'll just give me like 200 bucks, whatever, $185 US. On the other end, I told them I will include this in the final invoice. Now the permits, I sent the email to my permit company, and I already, I think I saw something over there. Hold on, there's a bunch of emails in here. Okay, thank you, we'll let you know. Oh, alright. Yeah, I just sent the, so I have Michigan, Illinois, so that's of course the best route. Actually, I learned this one from the previous company. They were tricky, you know, like try to avoid too many states when you order permits, right? Because each state, the permit company charges you a fee, like in my case, 25 bucks Canadian. So if I use 10 states, that's $250 in her fees. If I use 5 states, that, you know, sorry, don't, the calculator is too far. But anyway, I'm just kidding. But so you always try to use as few states as possible, and so this way, going through Chicago towards Texas, that's just, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, Texas. And I already have Michigan, Indiana, so I just sent her a request to issue Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, Texas, and I said I can run with Axle 3 up on the trailer, or I can put it down if they don't like it, because some states, might think it's weird. And I even sent her, I took a picture with the third axle up, and I said, this is how it looks, in case, she does not know what I'm talking about. But just, to make things clear. And this time, I'm not in a rush, but this time I looked at my Michigan permit. When you have a very wide load, they give you curfews. They put it right on the permit. And I thought I would have this too, but I'm not like last time I had that on my permit. I remember I was like probably 13 wide because I had to use an escort, and with like single escort going through around Detroit. And I remember there was a curfew, like all these little counties around Detroit. You cannot be there after 3, and in the morning, like a couple of hours, right? But this time I checked mine. Nothing. That clause, they remove it. So I was afraid that I would not be able to go to Detroit now because, I spent a bunch of time in here washing, and then I was talking to the bond guy. Oh, and that's another problem. Oh boy, this bond thing. I spent probably like half a day yesterday trying to find a company where I can buy a bond, and nobody, unless you're their customer, or you have an account with them. I said, so what's the problem? I'll open an account. What's the big deal? So finally, the freight broker I know gave me a name of the company in Texas that another Canadian guy he knows uses, right? And I said, for a single trip bond, right? Yeah, okay. So I called this lady yesterday from this company, and I talked to her. I'm telling her what's happening, that I have a machine from Canada that goes to Mexico. My job is to enter U.S. and deliver it in Texas, right, in bond. Oh, okay, so you need a bond for traveling inside U.S. I said, yeah, okay. So she sounded like she was understanding everything, right? Okay, I'll send you a carrier, basically. She'll send me like an email with the stuff I have to send her back. She says, think of us as a freight broker. Basically, she says, whatever you send to the freight broker, send us the same stuff, like your MC number certificate, your insurance. And she says, we'll set you up as a new customer. I said, how much is the bond? Like for one trip. She says, if it's under 50,000 US value, it's $95, and mine is like 45,000 Canadian plus tax. It was like 50,000 bucks after everything Canadian. So that's like 31 US, right? So she says $95. I said okay. And now nothing happened yesterday. This was like 4 o'clock my time, so it's 3 o'clock in Texas. Nothing, okay, maybe the guys are busy. Now 9 o'clock here, 10, 11, finally I call them. I said, guys, I send you an email, with all the paperwork. I gotta go. I talked to Evelyn, so I was under the impression that Evelyn was the boss. I'm talking to some Spanish guy, and he tells me, no, we cannot do it for $95. So basically, we're back to square one. I said, what are you talking about? I talked to this Evelyn girl, right? And, well, but you don't have your own bond. I said, wait, if I had my own bond, why would I be calling you guys? I said, what about this guy from Canada that uses you? Oh, well, he's using us not just for that. He has his own bond. He uses us to cross the border. I said, I don't need you to cross the border. I have my own e-manifest on the computer. I can create it, right? I just need the bond for one trip. And this guy said, okay, so you want to use my bond? Oh, well, we cannot give it to you for $95. It's going to be, because there's some new regulations, it's going to be, like the calculator, $450. I said, what? Oh, boy. But anyway, so I said, Evelyn told me $95. I said, you want me to send you an email? I explained to her what I need. I said, that's why I need your bond. Like it's insurance. You know, either you have your own insurance or you use somebody else's insurance, and then they charge you a fee. But that's the problem. You know, nowadays, I guess, you know, this guy said there's a new regulation, like U.S. Customs became very strict because there's certain procedures you must follow to when you have a loading bond. Basically, you must cancel it on the other end, and a lot of people just forget about it, and then you can get a big fine, you know. And that's why they're afraid to give you their bond, you know, because basically that's what you're doing, kind of like you're borrowing their insurance, you know. And they're afraid that U.S. Customs will come after them. And I said, I know this. I know the procedure. Trust me. And the guy says, okay. He says, this one time only, I'll let you use our bond for $95 because Avalon gave you that price. But he says, for the future, we'll have to negotiate something. If you're going to use it a lot, we'll have to negotiate a fee. He says, maybe not $450, but it will not be $95. And I said, thank you, sir. So, you know, I'm just stuck with this crane, right? Like, I pick it up. Now, without a bond, I cannot go anywhere. Because the guy doesn't want to do, like, the actual customs clearance, right? Like, otherwise, the simple way would be to clear this into U.S., but then, of course, you have to pay fee because you, like, exporting the machine from Canada to U.S. You know, nobody wants to do that because that's why they want to bypass U.S., right? So it's being exported from Canada to Mexico, right? And I'm the guy caught in the middle. So anyway, so this guy says, yeah, it's okay. We'll give it to you this time. So he gave me the already bond number. I gave him my trip number so I can set it up on my computer. And he says I'll get it later today. And from here, this is Woodstock, Ontario. From here, it's about. Hold on. Yeah, Sergey. Yeah.
What bridge are you coming through with the inbound?
I told you, Ambassador Bridge, Detroit.
No, you said Detroit. I didn't know it was Ambassador.
Yeah, Ambassador Bridge.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, bye. Yeah, it was the guy with the Spanish dude with the bond. Jesus. So next time, if somebody wants to move something in bond, I'll just say, okay, $500. You know, let's say your price is $5,000 for this load. You want it in bond, $5,500 automatically. So 10% I will add on top. You know, because it's so much hassle, and I'm losing time. You know, of course, time is very valuable. Otherwise, without this, I would set it up. The guy gives me, invoice. I put my sticker on, send it to a customs broker. It's like freaking 20 times easier than you have the bond. It's all because they don't want to spend money on, on exporting to US. Oh, and by the way, this guy says, I will give you a bond, but there's a condition. He says, you cannot go to your consignee in Far, Texas, because he says, I don't know them. And I suspect they're not a bonded warehouse, right? So when you have a load in bond, you can unload it only at the bonded warehouse. Like this guy says, he has a colleague in the same Far, Texas, and he says she has a bonded warehouse. So he says, I wanted you to promise me that you do not go to your consignee. First, you have to go to the warehouse, and then you, I guess, unload there. But basically, she must cancel the bond, And I'm saying, wait a second. So how do you, once the bond is canceled, how do you? Then I guess I'll just have to unload it over there, because this machine cannot be outside of bonded warehouse. It has to be delivered inside the bonded warehouse, right? Then the load is canceled, and then they move it from a bonded warehouse across the border to Mexico. Anyway, but at least now something's happening. That's the guy that called me. He's my savior. So thank you, Eduardo in Laredo, Texas. You're a good man. And also there was an interesting message over here. I wanted to tell you guys that I stayed in touch with all these Landstar Landstar agents. One of them just sent me a message. Do you need a load? No question mark, nothing. Do you need a load? So, and already another broker emailed me asking if I can do 106,000 pounds from Northern Ontario to Indiana. And I said, I'm not sure. Probably I can do that with 8 axles, but I said, I have a load. I'm going to Texas. So if you have something out of Texas, let me know. This other girl, also from Landstar, looks like she has a load, Do you need a load? So I'm going to email him back and say that I need a load from Texas in a week. And then what I have to do is I can start driving before these guys are working on the bond, right? Because there's another Flying J, like exit 50 on 401, so I can still keep driving, and I'll stop there. If the bond is ready, I'll print it out, and then I can do my e-manifest thing, right? But actually, they need 2 hours. I probably should stop somewhere like 2 hours from the border. But the sunset, another thing that Captain Sergei has to think about, the sunset is at 5 o'clock. And if you remember, I ran into some trouble in Ontario because it was already dark, but it was still within 30 minutes. I was still legal, but it's just they don't like it, when you drive after dark. And so I don't want to be going through Detroit at 5 o'clock, So today I think I'm not probably gonna even cross the border, I'm just gonna go maybe to that pilot over there, but that's only 50 kilometers, 30 miles from the border, and they want 2 hours advance notice. And my permit says I have to call Ambassador Bridge 24 hours in advance to ask to, tell them I'm coming, so they can roll out the carpet, bring the schoolgirls and the orchestra, typical stuff. Sometimes I feel like they spoil us heavy haulers. And I need to print out, of course, the Michigan permit and the Indiana permit. And that's it. After that, I'm okay. So basically, that's the most difficult part, enter US. Once I'm in the States, that's it. After that, it's just driving. And yeah, I did get the money yesterday, right? So they finally sent me the money. And it's interesting how they send it from a US bank to my US bank, and the deposit was made, I think it was like 12 o'clock my time, and I got the money at 4 or like 3:30. So it only took like 3.5 hours for this payment to go from Texas to Ontario, because it's all electronic, So at least now I have money for fuel, I have money for the wash, I have money for food, because I haven't been working for 2 weeks now. The axle 3 on the trailer. Alright, so now we can do some driving, right? Because I'm still in Canada, I don't need my bond, I don't need anything. that's the entrance. See on the left where there's blue sign? That's the entrance to the truck wash. And actually it's a very steep turn, no matter whether you're coming from this end or this end. But it is easier from this side. Over here. Just wanted to show you guys how the truck sounds with this heavy load. So right now my throttle is in the floor and no RPM is stable. 1489, 1491, 1496, 1502. I'm still on gear 5. Okay, 600 RPM. Now we are on 8. No, wait a second. 5? I was in 7. What is this? I lost track of my gears. Yeah, you see, losing RPM. So I'll have to shift. The throttle is still in the floor. No, it's okay. Stable. But my turbo boost is maximum. So right now the truck is working very hard. Speed is 56 miles per hour right now. And now we're in 8 high, last gear. And speaking about fuel mileage, my fuel gauge shows less than 50%. And the fuel over here was very expensive. I don't want to spend that much money, so. And I know that near Detroit, like that's where I fueled last time. It was, you know, 350. No, it was 259 a gallon. You know, right outside of Detroit, but a small marathon station. I had to drop my trailer, but with this heavy load, this probably will not be enough for me to cross the border, especially that Ambassador Bridge is very steep. It will start beeping. Sometimes these guys, like the service centers, you know, I go there and I can drop, I can drop the trailer. You know, their hoses are very small, but diesel fuel is often much cheaper than at a truck stop. Like maybe it's like $1 per liter instead of $1.16, you know. We'll see.